must lead to the same legacy. And this legacy begins right now on stage 3 here at EWC 2026. Esports are getting started all over, some in their opening stages, while at MLDB, MSC, we are firmly in the knockouts. These teams know each other, they faced each other. Brynmar, Mirko, now it's time for the rematch that could decide somebody's fate in this tournament. Will send somebody home.
Yangon Galacticos, any team that comes out of Myanmar will always have the ghouls of the past hovering over their shoulders. People asking them, the country asking them, rise above, get the championship in an international that we weren't able to get in our second world championship. While for Pro, a region hungry for recognition to solidify themselves as some of the best in the world.
And it's the dynamic of those two storylines colliding, and also these two teams with their clear identities, those play styles that'll be clashing again. Yangon Galacticos, a team that has also went back to rely on utility jungles, gone back to their ways, and MSL Myanmar. What crazy picks await us here, right? I mean, Coach Marv's, Coach M got the way that they're able to dominate in MSL Myanmar wasn't just through playing the fundamentals, being clutch in the late game, but it was through these crazy picks that you would put on Blink, those Helker roams, those crazy junglers, even Ying sometimes on the carries. Could they possibly pull it off here against Pro, who are just trying to double down on the meta?
In our discussion about the metagame throughout the group stages, there's a C word that popped up. Not just crazy, but creativity. How creative can you get with the picks available in terms of where you're going to put them? Barrett's in the EXP, well, he can also be played in the jungle. Mathilda's the roam, nope, surprise, she can actually be played as a mid laner. All of these are now leading to this point. We've had 2 days where teams, we've got to talk to them. They said, we've been training our butts off, just trying to break the code of this meta, trying to come up with our own way to play the game.
I'll throw out another C word, calibration. Because I think these teams have seen what's worked, but they've also seen what hasn't worked against their opponent. And now it's time to figure out, how do we split the difference in terms of the stuff that we know is effective in this meta, but also the stuff that we've been punished with when we've tried to go up against Yangon earlier on. These two teams have fought for certain heroes. Uranus has been one of them. But YG, on the other flip side, has experimented and never failed. They haven't. Then in the draft, that is the one thing that I'm wary of coming into it, Mirko, because if you haven't lost, you're not going to change much. Why would you?
I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And for Yangon Galacticos, that's been, I think, their core identity throughout MSL Myanmar. The entire season, in the regular season, when we were seeing fighters up to now. And one of the doubts that I had for Yangon Galacticos is very similar to one that I had for TL, is that Han is such a good utility jungle that we might be seeing more of the utility jungles instead of it. Fanny and Link back. I think now we're going back to that. The Freya's left open, so Yangon Galacticos will just build from there. They pick up the Freya. It's a good flex pick. They've also already taken out one of the counters for the Phobius. So now it's open anywhere. Now Pro, do they go for the straight up counter against the Freya? Do they pick it up?
Let's see if they do. Are they going to double down on the utilities? You still have the Nolan option for Assassin if ever, but then what happens if you pick the Nolan early, you show it up, and then suddenly you're going through a very aggressive Freya, you're up against utility. Things like Akai might still be available, but a Valentina as an option for these two would be great. And Pro continues now to actually look at the drafts of Yangon and taking away some comforts. They've taken away comforts from their own and mid. The mid laner for Yangon has only played 2 heroes this tournament, Gord and Eudora.
Exactly. Massive pivot for Pro. We're talking about doubling down in the meta game. They might still do that with a Nolan Red 3. But before they do that, they steal away. They deny some of these big picks for Yangon Galacticos. Han, game 1, beat Pro with a Fredrin Gord. They take away the Guinevere, anticipating the Fredrin Red 3 from Pro with the Juicin in mid.
And the Cho is also a hero that they've won a game with. They're 1-0 on a Cho. And going back to what's worked, I mean, you come up with a game plan. This looked good for us. He takes something away. I like this draft already.
As much as you want to try and escape from utilities and junglers in the meta, sometimes you can just take away a few and suddenly you're back to a few months ago. Guinevere, Baxia, welcome back to the utility junglers.
Only when Hirara, Fanny, and Ling are banned do we get to see these heroes, man. Again, just, ban it out. I like what Young Galacticos are doing, especially for game number 1, right? They're trying to get the momentum.
ဒီနေ့ရန်ကုန်နေပါလို့ပြန်နေလေအောင်ကြီးရပ်တာ
And now we have to talk about later on. You see the glue bans coming down again. It really
လူ
just
ကြီး
seems
နေ
like
နဲ့
we're
ပြန်တွေ့နော်
replaying
ဆုံးဖြတ်ပွဲ
the
ပါ
meta of wild card all over again.
And again, I feel like we have to somewhat thank Team Falcons Mena for this because they're the only team that banned out both Ling and Hirara blue side, and we saw how that led to their game. It led to going back to the utilities, going back to the tanks in the jungle. But you still have the new elements you have to take into consideration. Esmeralda, Mathilda especially would be a nightmare to deal with for that gourd. Seems like Pro and Yangon are both going to be front to back, with Yangon having more options to break the formation of Pro.
Exactly. I think it's for Pro a little bit more front to back. They really want to play around that Gordon. So I think the carry here will be a very, very good man on top of the Esmeralda. Phobius, Esmeralda, both already counters to the Freya. The carry is just another cherry on top just to give Freya a little bit more space in the goal if he does go there, or even in XP, right? Because you want to have a Purify here against this lineup. You don't want to go Vengeance against a Chogord Baxia on the Freya.
Oh,
But they banned the Sora.
they took away the Sora as an option. I believe that is... Oh, yeah, that's one of the notes that I have here for Pro. Watch out for their Sora in the EXP lane. So they pick up the Moskov. Our hunch is right. It is very front to back for Pro. Yangon has enough options for dive, and they say, why not more? Let's pick up the Claude. And I think a very solid roamer with Revitalize might be good here.
The Beleric is still up for grabs, though I'm not a big fan of it knowing how much poke there is on Pro.
Yeah.
Especially with the Cho early prio as well. So we might just be seeing
It's Gatotable, if you think about it.
it is Gatotable,
Why not
but the Gourd, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see here. Claude also a character that Yangon have won with and Pro Esports have lost with, so they don't actually really care too much about the bots there, but it is that dive that's going to pressure the gourd. How can they deal
ပါแล้วกว่า
with this? Keep that front to back you were talking about, Mirko.
I mean, if we're talking punishing front to backs,
Yep.
punishing team comps that rely on sticking together, that's a pretty good pick.
Yep.
Theoretically, just looking at everything on paper, I love what Yangon Galacticos have drafted.
ယူတို့ကြည့်ရတဲ့
So
ဘယ်လဲ
much AoE as well.
So much
So many
AoE
you do,
that
like
Carmilla
Kenny,
is going to give a lot of headaches for Pro if ever they cannot get good momentum to start with, because if things are even and Yangon can play a normal team fight to Pro Esports front to back, then Yangon will continuously tear through them.
And technically, we were talking about Blink already, right?
I don't know about
Earlier on,
Blink,
how
I
they
don't
win,
know.
dominate MSL Myanmar. It was through Blink getting his
အဲ့ဒီ
picks,
နေကငါ
random
တို့မြန်မာ
picks,
ပလေးက
cheesy
ဒီပါဘူး
picks.
လားကွာ
It was the Hellcurt. It was more damage oriented, but now we get to see a little bit more of wherever Carmilla is right now.
Yeah.
She has a lot of damage just putting it down there. Curse of blood for the rest of the team. But now for Pro, it's
မြန်မာပလေးကလေးတော့မတွေ့ရ
doubling down on early game snowball, trying to contest those neutral objectives,
โอเค
kind of dictating the pace of those
ဝယ်
early neutral objectives.
Early stun, maybe a level 4 ult from Gord could get a pick. Pressure from Cho and Yuzhong rounds it out. How do you feel about it, Rimar?
Well, sorry, I'm Felix loves the Yu Zhang. Has been one of his best picks historically. Plus, Claude needs to watch out for that petrify. A lot of execution, little
Good
things you
job,
gotta watch out for.
we
in the
don't
early
know
game,
that.
especially for
I don't know.
Yangon, because that's their window. If they get to
ငါ
succeed in
တို့
their
ကရင်း
window,
နေကိုယ်ငါ
they're
တို့
gonna
စောတဲ့
steamroll
လူမ
right
ဟုတ်
through.
တော့မှရင်းနေတွေခုံ
Well,
နေ
they
တာ
got the draft. But again, I ask this question, will it be a rerun or a remake?
Well,
Will we see the
Sabi.
same result in YG push through? Will Pro Esports find the solution? The
Well,
final
you
pick,
play 'em up,
Yuzhong.
look, you need
We'll
play
see how
'em
much of
up.
an impact it has as we get this set underway. It's going to be Naisu on the cast alongside Leo. Welcome back, buddy.
And here we go. We waited a couple days leading into the knockouts, and now it's finally here. This is the best part of the tournament, and we get to see what adjustments have been made for our team. Starting off with Yangon Galacticos and Pro Esports. Leo, welcome back. We missed you, man. We're jumping into this one.
Mingalaba and Homoi Mao to all of the
ပြရနေဟိုကမြန်မာလူကပြောနေတာ
It's the best of 5, and the action
မြ
starts
န်မာလူက
now.
ပြောနေတာ
Either side, I'd say, has clear mid prio because early on you see Carmilla,
Yep.
you think it's safe, and then
you stay there maybe 2 seconds longer, and then she deals a lot of damage next thing you know.
You're just cursed.
ใคร
You
ดู
know, that curse of blood, that ultimate that Carmilla has is what could make this so deadly. Again, fighting around what they have with this composition, even when you look at the emblems that they're running, there is a good fight potential for just Yangon and Galacticos to play off Blink.
In the gold lane, you see that both are just jockeying for position. Sanji and Kozin looking for that quick rotation out. Quick duel. Both at less than half health right now. Sanji has the level up. BMI back.
This is such a odd thing too, and I know the panel shared the sentiments. Same thing. Hold on. Bottom lane.
Ying rocking the Purified dueling against two, you were saying.
Okay. To go back to where the meta was just a little bit ago, maybe that is the solution. Just ban out those assassin junglers that have been being picked up so much throughout the course of MSC. You know, the Ling, the Harara, the Fanny now. And I'm wondering if that'll be the case, just because, again, it's the nature of the best of 5. You've got some variations you can go through, especially Game 1 and Game 2, depending how this series goes. But, so what you can expect is a little bit of a slower paced game. Because of the nature of the junglers that are in play here, you know, the fact that it's Guinevere. Oh, hold on, Han?
Oh, sorry, I'm feeling coming in! Taking down Han! The retribution source, the jungler, out of the equation for Yaman early on. Turtle spawns.
Well, that's unfortunate. So this is just going to be a turtle over to Pro Esports. A really good setup. And this is why they were saying, you know, you've got to watch out for that Petrify. Sorry on Felix, this is one of his best heroes, this Yu Zhang, that he's been able to go ahead and showcase throughout so far.
Whoa.
Pressure.
PPP coming in does not force the issue. They do get the Purify out of Sanji. They pop that.
Pop that Purify, man. But again, you don't want to let this Yu Zhang scale up an advantage in the lane matchup alone, and that's why, oh, here's the setup.
Han finds a Requiem. Kaizen looking to take him down. Gives the kill over to the jungler. Han finds his redemption. Now they pressure Coily. Coily will be able to secure the orange. Rolling away.
All right, he gets one back. That's fine, evens things out. Han, again, on this Guinevere, so important to go ahead and either lead that charge. You give space to your Claude for Sanji to farm up, get to where he needs to be, get that power spike on the trinity of items. But right now, this is the course. Play around Han, set up potential. Eventually, the beacon is there as well.
A minute prior to the second turtle, I think, Young Galacticos have already undone the early damage Sword and Felix dealt. We're back to 50-50.
Yep.
This is neutral, and it's a matter of how fast Ying can make it to that gold lane, and now they fight Sa. That soft little gore, the choke down on the Coily, holding on to that Puissance, does not get pressured to press it down, holding it for the 30-second turtle coming up.
Too unfortunate. You can't really, you know, in time, I
ညီ
guess.
မတူပြရရတယ်
With Saw there on the gore just because of how quick that setup of the spatial migration happens. So Yangon Galacticos doing a really good job just finding these little moments across the map. You can see though how quickly they're actually rotating across the map, and that's why now if you're Pro Esports, having this Cho in the hands of PP here, he's got to be able to go ahead and land that kick, land that setup, you know, and then capitalize on it. Skypiercer's picked up for Saw now too on this court, so if he's able to get stacks, he's a big threat with that Mystic Gush.
Pro Esports not going to take this line down despite the early pickoff. Yangon Galacticos up by a significant 500 gold. Jockeying for position. PPP getting pressured by Kaize. Purifies all off of cooldown on Yangon. Ying and Blink just pressuring the turtle.
Okay, he wants to get his orange quick. Coily's going to be here in time. He's going to roll on through. Ding.
And the Puissance is in. It's good. Blink with the revitalized. Han with the retribution to secure the turtle. Down goes Soria Felix. PPP follows through. Coily finds Han. Felix falls in. And they're not done. They want Coily. And they'll get him. And they eventually will get the kill on Sanji. This Claude is farming up good.
2 kills already after the second turtle. Looking for Saw.
Another choke down.
ใครดูเนี่ยต้องการ
Ying gets it.
Man, talk about a switch. Yangon Galacticos just decides to go in high drive. Takes the turtle, takes some kills. Now they will capitalize on a tier 1 in mid. Oh, they're not stopping here.
PPP one more. Kaize gets it. Who has the Skypiercer? Coily jumps in, finds Kaize. Kaize will still not take this line down. He keeps on going. Han from the flank. Joseph, who has the Skypiercer?
After this replay, we got to take a look at the items here. But this one, again, great team fighting. You know, this is what we're talking about. The threat, that AoE threat of this lineup, that is there for Yangon Galacticos. is so deadly, and you wouldn't expect the Klon to be able to go ahead and get this much, value out of that this early on, but a double kill helps Sanji scale up even more at this point. So, fighting into that is something that's going to be difficult, especially for a Cho. You can take a look at the items here real quick. We'll see exactly who has the Sky Piercer.
Wow.
Okay, so it's just soft.
Yeah, no, Yangon Galacticos are playing close to the chest despite almost being 3,000 gold up. They decide to be conservative and say, nope, we're going to spread the goods.
Yeah, this is, maybe it's the case where we see Kaizei pick it up later, as we've seen with Jushin's before. Eventually, maybe second, third item. He's already got the glowing wand. He'll be going, so he's just going to go to the Clock of Destiny next, I would assume. But again, these variations of the build, especially for the Jushin, has changed depending on the game, depending on the composition, and that's what they're going to play it. So right now, Pro Esports...
Sanji here, purifies, blazing duet on the Kozin, life stealing away from the small wave, but you can see that he hasn't invested in that just yet, building the golden staff.
Just getting the golden staff, had to pop the purify. He's not going to have that for this turtle, nor will he have the ultimate. We'll see if Pro Esports wants to go ahead and try to capitalize on that, maybe get the turtle. They're in range for this Coily. Waiting for the rest of the team to get here. PP just off the corner.
Gets that kick, displaces him. Ying with the Valkyrie's descent, turtle still with the retribution range, revitalized. It's Coily who threads the needle. Han falls to Surya Felix, but Ying still finishes the job, finds Coily. A trade, 2 for 1. Kazi gets Felix right now. Ying is on a warpath.
Oh, this is a problem, when you're trying to disengage, get away. Yes, you got the turtle, but you can't get away from the fight, and that's what happens with this. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, Sanji's not pressing that.
He's not pressing that.
A mile away.
Has the Moscow voice line changed?
No. But he has hit the SODs, significantly so for the past 7 minutes. It's just, the one time he pressed it, they still lost.
That's true. Oh, no, he's actually going to be in trouble now. Kozin?
Okay, he finds a dash to the other side. PPP looking for a punish. Massive Requiem finds Kozin regardless. And now they might find PPP too. Another one goes over to Yangon. A snare set by the Burmese.
This is what I was talking about, Leo. Like when you're trying to get away from the fight, when you're trying to disengage, it's that much more difficult because you have that ability to be dragged back to the opposing team because of the Jushin. And then on top of it, you got Han just having a heyday, jumping in. I mean, this is a composition that can just cut off all your angles because you got a Freya, you got a Guinevere. There's, I feel like even for Blink, it's been kind of low-key what he's been able to do with the Carmilla, but it's all part of the plan.
It's a mobile box. Essentially what we've been missing throughout the first week of MSC. The fact that we thought we could win with the Eves, with the more, immobile heroes like Eudora.
Yeah.
What Yangon Galacticos has through Coach Marvs and MGod is they made a mobile box, Joseph. Wherever Blink is where that box is.
And it's a circle.
Yeah,
it's a circle,
It's a tetrahedron.
Yeah, exactly. So, that seems to be working so well with a mobile lineup like this. Now this Lord's coming up here. Pro Esports has really struggled, aside from Coily, again, being on this Moksha. We've seen it before, the little drive-bys, but trying to get this retribution. Okay, he's not going to get thrown up in the air with that spatial migration. Right now, Yangon Galacticos has advantage around this Lord. You've got a push down Bob from Kozin. Massive fight.
Valkyrie's descent, Ying versus 3. Make that 2. SOD thrown out. Han secures it. Will Kozin already here? Amongst the fight. Into the back line. Sanji puts him at half health. Finds one. Make it another. Double kill for this Claude. And that's enough to keep Pro Esports at bay. Yangon with 2 kills and a Lord.
Man, I can't believe that also Ying was just able to buy so much time on this Freya. When he goes Valkyrie form, that's enough to go ahead and keep a lot of the members of Pro Esports at bay. And then it was a great time to just allow the Claude to come in. Sanji, again, 4-0-3. Just having a massive game. This is much more early than what we're used to for Claude's kind of popping off already, having this many kills, but you can already see it. The follow-through off of the setup is what's working so well. Now Lord will charge into this mid-turret.
PPP finds a kick, serves up 1, but it's not going to be enough as the Lord crashes into the base. Kozin throwing these spears out. Coily in trouble with the Puissance. The damage reduction ain't enough. It's a 1-for-1. Up right beneath them is their turret fall, and bottom lane shield goes down too. This is defensive Black Dragon form.
Okay, they can use it. Swinging around. Sario and Felix trying to help here.
Felix survives but gets choked back and slammed. 3 have fallen to try and defend.
They'll take this last turret here. Kozen's still up, Pete. Jumping in with that concealed. Just wants to get them off of this. They don't want this game to end just yet. Can they hold this base defense? They've got a wave down bot.
Another Valkyrie's descent. PPP not strong enough to hold out. And there's a Gush trying to kick him out. And there's a massive kick. Oh, Sanji wants to end it right here, right now. One small minion followed by a wave. Yangon Galacticos. An emphatic win, game 1.
Such a quick victory here for Yangon Galacticos. Just barely reaching that 11-minute mark. It just feel like they switched the switch to go, man. They went on go very quickly in this one, and it felt like Pro Esports struggled to find a way to play against that mobile box or that mobile circle that we're talking about here.
0 to 100 in 11 minutes.
Exactly.
Sanji had a gold lane experience from the start to the end.
Double kill early on allows the Claude to scale up much faster. But it wasn't even just that. It was just the great team fighting that was on showcase here from Yangon Galacticos in game 1.
He was triple waving and then winning objectives. They lost more turtles than they took, but when you look at the map, it's turrets for turtles. Which one you would rather have?
Oh, yeah. And this is interesting, too, just because, you know, first, I guess, debut pick for Carmilla. You kind of wonder, what does she do? Well, Blink is that guy. He's that roamer to be able to go ahead and pull out some of these hero picks that are unique. And it's very unique to Yangon Galacticos because I know it's mentioned, too, he does play a roam Hellcurt, and he can play this roam Carmilla, and you see this work so well. Again, look across the board. A lot of these members of Yangon Galacticos didn't even die. And that's just how well protected and team fighting centric they were to allow this to happen in such a quick manner here. So again, a very quick game 1. Even with this different, bringing out some utility jugglers here, it all worked out. So let's go ahead and throw it over to the studio to break down our game 1.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, game 1 goes away. Yangon Galacticos super early on and super convincingly. We talked about the undying, the immovable object. 4 members from Yangon Galacticos did not die in game 1. The only exception, the person getting a bunch of kills, Han, as well, got some deaths, but I think they'll take that trade. 11-minute game. Rinmar and Mirko, guys, that was dominant.
Yeah, we had to say we told you so, but we told you so. It's exactly as we saw it and read it in the draft. Kaizen and Sanji now has their 4th game where they're deathless, and the formation breaking that Yangon Galacticos has with their lineup just was too deadly to deal with for Pro.
I think even if the front to back worked well, even if Pro Esports, were able to execute it properly, the Carmilla was already a good enough answer to deal with it. And that, again, it just comes down to the draft. I think for YG, they were prepared for everything. They were prepared for the Gorge steal, the Cho steal as well. They picked up the Guinevere, denied the Fredrin, and without the Fredrin, the Baksha Gorge just looked like a very awkward solution to the problem.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. It felt like I wasn't watching Pro, and you could tell that they're missing a little bit of that tempo setting, aggression. They are playing as if they can set the tempo and can dive and be aggressive, leaving Sa behind often on that gourd.
People were saying it wasn't, backstage, just for the Gourd and the Cho, that wasn't enough.
Nope. Definitely not. No, I mean, you needed some more fronts that can actually CC opponents, right? For the Baksha, you're more of a tempo-oriented character instead of the Fredrin that wants to peel back. So as a Baksha, you go in, you try to invade early as well. They did get mid-prio, but on a Gourd, it's just not something you can really utilize to invade because you're breaking your own line technically by moving past. Yings, oh man, on the Freya. I think whoever got the Freya at the end of the day would have just had an amazing time because again, the Freya was first pick. We were saying, bro needs to get something to deal with the Freya.
Yeah.
Phoveus was banned out. The Esmeralda I thought would be red 3, but they instead picked up the Baksha. And again, for Pro, they're going to really have to find out how to deal with this. They cannot play the utility game against Yangon Galacticos. They're not a good team when it comes to utility. They're a very chaotic team that relies on mechanics to actually win out the early game. So if you give Yangon a utility matchup, it's just a big stompy stomp, brother.
Yeah, Ying was just left unchecked. And you could tell that with harkening back to a playstyle that was from just a few months ago, a few weeks ago, it seems like Pro was completely out of their comfort. It seems like for a moment that they forgot how to deal with a lineup like this.
Yeah.
Again, leaving their gourd, leaving Ying unchecked. It really just seems like they were shocked to go back to a previous playstyle.
And it's so good because it worked out so well in the end, right? Out of all the utility picks that were nerfed, one of the only ones that was left completely untouched in the patch was the Guinevere. We saw the nerfs onto the Baksha, the Akai, and the Fredrin, and they got themselves a Guinevere to deny the Fredrin, which worked so well and forced the Baksha pick.
Yeah, it was nice to see the way that so many of those things comboed as well. You had the Zushin who could pick up off the ultimate and allow Guinevere to get the ult off. You also had the Freya as she collapsed onto her ult to be able to get quick knockups. So they had a lot of synergy there.
Yeah.
As we were talking again, just watching this, Gideon saying this just works too easy. And I think that, again, needs to be where pro esports have to apply a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, just with how they were able to manipulate the draft in such a way that everything favored them was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to break down that draft, actually.
You got a draft, Mirko? What do you got for us?
I got a draft, you know? I got a lot to talk about in the drafts, honestly, because I feel like it was completely won by Young Galacticos in this draft, Renmar.
All right, I got you.
So, I mean, we got this right now. Hold on. Hey, hold on. There you go. All right. So, firstly, we got to talk about the first two bans, right? I think for me, it's just, brother, when you know your comfort is purely on utility, or not purely, but you are more comfortable on utility, force it out. It's completely fine to actually force it out. You ban the Fanny, you ban the Ling, but it's also, I gotta say, the response from Pro, I think they panicked a little bit. Seeing the Fanny and the Ling, they wanted to have something else. They wanted to be prepared. They wanted to have like a deny pick over with the gourd, and they instead banned out the Hirara. Where at this point, I think we know that even if you let the Hirara go, it will be good for you to take it as a response, or it will be great for you to counter it with the Nolan. They got baited into this playstyle by banning the Marcel, banning the Atlas, and leaving the Hirara, and they even got baited into playing this composition because they first picked the gourd and the Cho.
Yep.
Basically confirming that they want to go for the Fredrin, they want to deny everything away from Young Galactico's side. So again, it was the Freya first pick into these two picks starting it up. And this basically locks you in to a front to back, complete front to back. Nothing you can do about it, right? Because you have to play for your gourd. You have to play for your Cho and use that mid prio. But with the Fredrin, number one, you wouldn't even be able to utilize that mid prio too much unless you control neutral objectives. And that's why the Guinevere was just so good here. This forced the Baksha pick. This forced the composition to go derail away from the main win conditions straight up. Because on the Baksha, you want to go fast, but with the gourd, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Young Galacticos, they made sure that this matchup that Pro didn't really capitalize on Red 3 by not picking the Esmeralda, not picking up a winning lane against a Freya, got completely punished later on. Because then they were completely set on, again, playing that pure front to back. If they picked Carry instead of the Moskov, it would have actually been worse because of this Carmilla pick. This Carmilla pick is just so good against any front to back composition that wants to stick around. And that's why their only solution to the problem was the Yuzong pick, which was, in my opinion, not that bad considering the circumstances. That was their last pick to basically say, all right, the only way we win this game is if we snowball hard from the start. And it looked pretty good at the start because they were able to catch
They got
on.
an early kill.
Unfortunately, their composition still had one win condition, and it was just playing that front to back, even with that early kill. So if it wasn't a 2-3K goal lead at the start of the game, it's shot.
Yep. And we actually have some plays to back up everything that we've mentioned about the draft, even leading into this one. All right, so I need you this time around.
Man, look at the teamwork here.
Yeah, it's all teamwork up here.
And you're leaning. No one's standing or anything. We're like composed to start off knockout stages. I like this.
So just two moments here that really stood out for me. It's how Pro Esports really managed this first fight. Once that first fight wants to play out. Oh, what's happening here? Hey. Okay, we can just go ahead and look at this. All right, so you see how we go back to it once again real quickly. Sa left behind, that is Cardinal Sin when you're going up against a lineup that wants to dive and you have one major damage dealer in the early game. I feel like they also put too much value on their Moskov being able to be a major presence in terms of the damage. Look what happens to Sa. Once their formation is broken like that, they got no damage. No matter what kind of combo that you get, you already have heroes under your belt here. Beneath the ultimate of the Carmilla, it's not going to be a good time. And then with that going down really quickly, without their gourd, you see how quickly they're crumbling. They're able to get the turtle, sure, but this is where, again, we go back into the Freya getting left unchecked. Coily will just get slashed through by this Freya. The rest of Yangon Galacticos will be able to recover from not being able to get the turtle. Because again, look where Sa needed to go. He had to go loop around behind the wall, loop all the way back to the turret, leading to Ying being able to get the double kill. And this was after we saw that big fight earlier for, I believe that was turtle number 2, where we get to see a classic return to some old rotations, wherein after you win turtle 2, you go right here. Where's the zoom button? All right, you know what? Let's just circle it in the map. Where you could go to the center of the map and be able to break the tower. You don't see it here, but the tower goes down so quickly because of how many members of Pro went down. The minion waves were crashing in. They maximized the gold in the turret and mid, and then were able to break it. After that, that's pretty much GG. It would take a miracle for Pro to lose this game.
It's an interesting thing because you mentioned Sa's rotation, but looking at that, I think he chose to get into the fight quickly because the turtle was in the middle of it. Yep. But because he got pressured from that angle, he had to abandon the entire fight. If he had gone a little bit, and again, this is just looking at what you showed me, where he tried to end up going, that took a while once they were all dead. Maybe that patience. But again, he's working against, like you guys had said, tempo. We got to win fast. We got to win turtle. We got to win early. And so, of course, he's taking the quickest route. It just seemed like maybe there was more to do than there was that they could do in that early game. Mentioning this matchup, Sariam, Felix, and Ying. Felix 4-0 again. Several members. I think it was 4 by the time I looked at it in the green room. It might have been 3 or stayed 4 that did not die. Guys, I mean, this is just, they've got to find an answer.
Yeah, strong side lanes with the utility in the center. Even though Han went down 3 times, they're fine with it because their Freya's untouched, their Cloud is untouched, their Juicin was ripping through the formation and the play style of Pro. With all of that said, yeah, that was their game to lose.
This is what makes Yangon Galacticos so scary, right? Because they can play the utility game. They can also play some of those assassins if you leave it open. The Fanny, again, we've seen from Han as well. Not as scary as the utility game because, man, when they get those picks on Ying, when Ying's able to just carry, it's so, so good. But, again, back to the point at hand here.
You mean the fact that Rhino Day is available in the shop?
That's it.
We've been talking about. I mean, that's been the whole conversation. No, well, if you're not paying attention, basically, yeah, YG won game 1, but Rhino Day is here. New interactive effects. Grab those emotes, spam them to show your support, whether it's YG, whether it's Pro Esports, whether it's MSC in general. I love MLBB being so proactive about supporting the esport. That's a great thing to see. Mirko, back to you.
So, again, for Pro, it's just understanding your identity, playing with it, right? You don't win championships by playing something that is completely out of your own, comfort zone. You still have to stick to your own comfort, and comfort for them is clearly assassins, man. They cannot play that front-to-back composition. They need Coily on a carry. They need, hey, I love you too, man. Thank you so much. God. All right, but yeah, play that aggressive game. Control the tempo. Dictate it. Go crazy.
Yeah, you get I love Mirko.
Where's the
Signs,
sign?
I get who's Renmar signs.
No, bro. Everybody loves Renmar.
Sure. I don't even want to say the sign I get. You probably you probably don't want to see the sign I'm getting. Mark can't stop laughing. Even FaceTiming the homies to be on camera.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's a true homie right there.
I love it.
Freya,
Atlas Ling. What was the other one? Fanny? I'm guessing it's Fanny.
It was something Ixia.
It was Ixia.
I like that. Hey, I think you just gave our writers a new idea. Whoever made that Dark Triad sign,
Dark Triad.
Thanks for the idea.
Okay, do a MOBA Zone pick. I hope these have been approved. They have been. Saber. Okay, pick Saber. I love this. I mean, we do know that basically the assassin jungle is so important, and they committed to the ban out. They saw the Ling and the Fanny. They said, well, we'll ban the Harara. Let's go away from it. But you've been mentioning they can't do that again today in game 2 and beyond. So now you're going to see a completely different approach. YG's still going to ban the Ling. But they're not participating, it looks like, on the side of Pro Esports.
And this is where it'll be confusing for Pro Esports, right? Because I know exactly what Yangon Galacticos are doing now. They're banning out the Ling, they're banning out the Marsa. I think the Fanny will come next, and they're going to leave it open now. You want to go Hirara or Freya?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think YG will walk away with the winning trade.
Yeah. They're really centering on the EXP Freya trade.
There you go, right? This is the Fanny ban, and then Pro are just going to be forced into either Hirara or Freya. I don't think you want to let go of the Freya.
Yeah. But then I think it's also a tough call for Pro because they know that the Esmeralda is going to be coming through. Oh, they banned
You
it
got
out.
the Fanny. Oh, that's what they want. Okay, wow, Yangon.
Wow.
All right, so we saw Yangon play a little bit more into the utility. Let's see if they're going to whip out the assassin through the Fanny, or maybe even the Nolan. Who knows?
They go straight up
Global
Eudora,
Papa.
Belleric, and then Fanny Red 3 here, no?
Yeah, Eudora will be good, Belleric will be good. I think I want to see them consider, I was about to say Selena, but all right, Eudora's not bad too.
Oh.
Barrett's early on.
2-0 on Barrett so far. YG have played him twice. They've won twice with him.
Yeah.
I love the development of the meta, man. Barat's early, especially in this situation, just creates so much confusion for Pro because they themselves banned out Uranus. It looked like they wanted to get their hands on the Barats. But even if Pro go for an Esmeralda, something of a counter against the Barats, this is still a flex pick knowing Yangon Galacticos. They can put it into the hands of Han. So now as Pro, you don't know what to go.
Right. I think if I'm Pro, I'm looking at what could you pair up with the Barretts and the Matilda. Does Yangon really want to play Matilda Rome and then Eudora mid? If Pro's idea to that is the answer is no, then expect that this Barretts is going EXP.
A safe choice for Pro right now. Oh, I was going to say, the safe choice would be a Lilia to have a way to deal with the Barats anywhere it goes. But they instead go for the Selena and the Belleric.
ဟိုကလည်း
Should
သူ့
be
ရဲ့
where
ရင်းနေ
the
ခုန်
Fanny
နေ
comes
လောက်
around, right? There's not a lot of crazy lockdown. They can ban it out later like a Moscow ban.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about something like a
Moscow
Padang showing
ba?
up. The only thing that Pro Esports could come in through a surprise is if that Barretts is going EXP. One very old answer to that is to rock a Cho in the EXP so that you get that pick off up against that Fanny. But let's see if Pro remembers that and if that can actually translate to the current metagame today. If this is Fanny, Pro Esports are going to be scrambling to look for
it's a
options.
glue.
But no, they don't want to show it yet.
The benefit is they just don't show their cards.
There's still so much flex, man.
All flex except the Eudora.
Yeah, except the Eudora.
Wow.
Oh, Pro is probably scratching their heads right now where to go because they can't pick up the Vexana anymore. They already showed the Selena. Yangon is on something else.
I mean, from an EXP perspective, they
I don't
played
mean
Bronze,
Moscow,
like I said,
it's
they
even
played
on
Uranus there.
ตาလေးပဲ
They played Ruby, another character that's come up in Flex
Say
both
it
Gold
again.
and EXP. They've tried the double fighter.
And Ying can play the glue in XP too.
Ooh.
This glue could be roll, it could be XP,
Atali.
this Barats could be XP, could be jungle. I don't think we can say it's gonna go gold, huh? That's out of the equation. But they ban out the Fanny, so Pro respecting that. Knowing Young on Galacticos though, again, there's still that possible Nolan that's a good pick against the Hirara as well.
And it'll be good. You have a very strong EXP in the Barretts. You have a very annoying Rome in the glue. They ban out the Fanny.
လွယ်လို့
and Harley.
ရွေးထားတာတဲ့
Who on
အာ
the
ဟ
lead
င်း
towards playing the assassin. This Nolan will be
စားတာပေါ့
fine.
လောက်
Just go for the gold lane, reveal your cards there, leave the Barats as
Yes.
a question mark for Pro to deal with all the way to the end right now. So safe gold laner, I'd say just take away the Moskov, right? Especially because you have a glue, but they go Claude again.
They're brave with it. I think maybe that's a little bit more of I want to say it's ego, but Sanji's feeling it. He's feeling it.
I mean, he did have like a pretty good game in game one. I just
Yeah.
have pretty good. Don't want to compliment him too much. Remember,
I mean, they've won twice, and now this could be the third time, so nothing has gone wrong when they pick the Claude. So I think a comfort pick, it's available. They ban out the Harith, which is the only other highly prioritized gold laner.
there you go.
Yeah, Bro ends up with the Moskov again. Sanji handled the duel against the Moskov, but let's see if maybe a quick little adjustment by Kozin is
ဆိုင်
enough.
ဘက်ကဲမှာလဲ
I wonder if they have room to put this Belleric in the EXP instead and then pick for a different Rome pick, but no matter the permutations you think about, Yangon is going to walk away with great advantage. Bring back an old favorite, Lapu Lapu in the EXP.
You gotta be really smart with that Lapu Lapu, man. That CCB is gonna have to come clutch before the Detona's welcome, before the big top. There you go. So last, what was that? Baksha, it is Baksha. All right. YG, last pick. Is the Barats gonna go into the jungle? Or do they pick up the Nolan here and try to bully the Hirara?
Yeah, if this is a fast clearing jungler, this Herrera is not going to have a good time. The lack of AoE also from Pro. Yes, I know they have the ultimate of the Belleric and technically AoE from the Lapu Lapu, but a lot of their damage comes in single targets unless Yangon all decide to line up in 5v5s up against the Moskov, which I don't think they're going to do.
Knowing YG, I want Ying on a carry. I want Ying on a damage dealer. Oh, what?
They run it
Unique
back with the
hero.
Suyo.
Wait,
Isn't
Haven't
that
seen
kind
this one,
of...
guys, is it?
It's kind of weird.
that is weird.
Fit your fancy for YG.
I love the draft. The Suyo, though, this is a snowball-dependent pick now in the
Yeah.
meta. It's not really something that you can... Back then, it was guaranteed snowball. Now, those nerfs to second skill will hurt him quite a bit in the farming department as well.
Sorry, I'm Felix on the Lapu Lapu. We're going to see the Han. matchup against the Harara with the Suyo. Wow, this is going to be interesting right here.
Very interesting decisions indeed. This could be a messy start for both.
Yeah.
And as always, with
Really
every
up
Garden
quick,
State,
wow.
that's the X factor.
All right, well, nice, Leo. Let us know what you think about this draft. It's game 2. Pro Esports hoping it goes a little longer than 11 minutes.
They definitely want a longer game here if you're Pro Esports. Now, Yangon Galacticos, they brought out a draft that, yeah, I have to agree with, looks deadly. Then that Suyo
comes back here, Leo. We haven't seen it too much. It kind of fell off a little bit after the nerfs, but maybe this is one of those cases where, you know what, the Harara's got all this mobility. Let me just be the Suyo and try to match it.
Nice, so it's not just the fact that it's the Harara on the other side, it's the fact that Pro Esports are now playing with a more proactive lineup.
Yep.
I agree with Mirko, I agree with Renmar. Even Rain Day knows that there's something up with this weird Suyo from out of nowhere.
Yeah, could definitely struggle, but it's one of those cases where, if anything, Yangon Galacticos has really showed us that they're really good at just playing as a team. You know, playing team-centric across the map.
worked so well for them. And yeah, even if we look at the emblems here, you know, it's not too much that we have to worry about on the side of Yangon Galacticos, because if Sanji has a similar game to what he had just previously,
Đâu giờ
Cloud's
em
gonna
luôn
scale
à,
much
lực
quicker,
quick.
much more deadly to
Chi.
that. And we all know
Copiárame, 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 copiapi. No te quiero, copiapi.
Kaiser draws first. The flicker in by Kaiser. Double kill from Eudora, striking like lightning.
I don't even have to finish what I was gonna say, because I
You
was
know
gonna
you
talk
are,
about the
yeah,
Eudora,
yeah.
man, and how good she's been in this tournament for MSC,
Hey,
but just in
do
the
you
meta
feel
in
So far, the past couple of weeks even. And you see that, a double kill early on as we look at the replay brought to us by STC. Look at the damage you can do this early on. This is why we say it's kind of busted, man. I mean, and then the flicker forward to capitalize on the double. That's dirty.
You know, it was a compounding effort. Oh, real quick, up top, here the orange. Full set birds in the trade. Coilies goes down. Ying gets it. Oh, throwing it out into the wall. One more. And there goes another. Double kill for Ying. Stop falls another time. Yangon are calling all the shots despite losing the retribution holder.
Oh man, it just got way worse here for Pro Esports. I'm so surprised they continue to hone in, double down on this. Sorry, I'm Felix. He's just, there's nothing he can do here.
No.
It'll go into Yangon.
Okay, so our whole concern with the Suyo isn't even the first point to worry about now for Pro Esports. It's Kaze just getting another kill off cam. 4-0-2 under 3 minutes.
Kaiser the killer. He is chasing Coily and Kozin's kill records from the groups.
He's taking him to the Thunderdome, man. I mean, there's something that you have to be concerned about. And it's just right now, it's all this Eudora in the hands of Kaize, because what is happening is her damage profile is already really great early on, especially when she hits level 2. You get one item, and you can almost, at this point, with this kind of lead, you can basically just one-shot someone with that combo. Hell, even if you get 2, you're even more of a threat.
Nice
No,
pop here.
baka lấy lại được
Coming
qua.
in.
Có nè.
Damage. Ying scores another. That is welcome. Flick spin now. There was no one left to bite.
Không có gì câu ni nha. Câu ghi ni
Again, Pro
câu ni
Esports,
nha.
this might be another quick one. Coily forced to just kind of deal with this pressure on
Câu
this
ni
side of the
mà có
map.
70k.
You've got tanky enough heroes too for YG to go ahead and deal with between Ying and Blink. You know, Blink synergistically between the glue and also Kaize and the Eudora, it just, that's enough burst as well. And you can't really escape from that, because you're either getting stunned or you're getting dragged back. Just like when we saw the interaction in the previous game when you had that Jushin. Masanji goes back with the BMI, he's going to be safe, but this is the hard part here, Leo, is for Pro Esports. Where is that opening? Where is that opportunity for them to actually get something here? Because originally we thought it would be these arrows with the Selena, maybe the Belric fight.
I'd say it's off of a perfect arrow, which Sa hasn't yet found.
The
best chances would have been before the turtle or during those early skirmishes, but I don't know, something about Sa and Yangon Galacticos being so far up front throws off the accuracy.
And you know what the problem is? Even if you land an arrow in your saw and it's not Kaize, you're going to get stunned and bursted down anyway. So you have to be able to land it on the right target. And right now, that's Kaize. And he's playing so well protected around the team here. Second turtle up. They're going to fight for it.
Throws it out. Han secures with the retribution. There you go. Taking route. There's DPP. Kaize very low, but takes out Coily first. Kaize still alive. Han fights PPP. Coily goes down. And now there's a trade. Finally, Pro on the board. 2 for 3. But the turtle still goes over to the Burmese.
Again, they got Kaze, they shut him down, but at what cost? You know, at this point, Yangon Galacticos is happy to go ahead and just take what they want. Objective. Now they're going to take some tier 1 turret in the mid. They get a Sky Piercer on Han. They build up forward more momentum in this game. You know, all this happening and a 4,000 gold lead at the 5-minute mark. Sanji and Blink and the rest of the team are here. Kaze so deadly with a dangerous grass as well.
Coily looking to take down Blink. Takes a few Glulings out on the way. 5.5 minutes in, Joseph. Gotta say, Sanji's been getting the gold lane experience once again.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. You can see that too, man. 1,000 gold ahead right now in that gold lane matchup. You know, he's just able to go ahead and hold his own, but just rely on the rest of the team to be here. He's so aggressive with it too against Kozin. He knows Kozin needs some more time to build up on that Moskov, and right now he'll be playing that long lane, playing off the side of the map when it is objective time. But at least this next turtle is going to be towards that side, so we'll see how both gold laners decide to play around it. But you can just see the clear lead right now that Sanji has as he looks to take down that tier 1 turret. They might just go for a swap here, give up this turret over to YG as they scale in forward.
With 30 seconds before the turtle spawns, I feel like there's just too much on Sa's shoulders. Sa is trying to plant snares. Sa is trying to throw out lethal arrows on the right target, mind you. It seems to be Blink right now, but even with all these ults thrown out, Blink might just punches him into the ground. A little bit of a kill, some respite for Pro.
Yeah, a bit of a baby step in the right direction that Pro Esports needs. Again, they need to slowly build up here in their own favor, and you know, at some point you just gotta get what you can take.
Oh, Han is 2 levels up on Coily. Despite the man advantage for Pro, the retribution count is just so much higher. Look, Yangon will secure this easy peasy.
Yeah, even without Blink, you know, there's just too much of a threat right now for YG's lineup. And like you said, I think, you know, this is the big part. It's so much responsibility for Sa to land these arrows. You know, usually when we see these Selenas picked up so far throughout MSC, yeah, you're able to play around the arrows, you know, you're able to go ahead and follow through, but that's if you're not down so much in the early game. And so now, again, your arrows, even if you land them, you don't essentially have this free reign to just go follow up, get that kill, have the team make it, because it's all just a risk up to this point. Still holding up almost 3 levels now against Coily here. This tier 2 being threatened on the bottom side. Oh, both junglers up on this top side too. We might actually have 2 fights break out.
Oh, it's not just 2 junglers, it's Ying as well. Iframes on Coily dashing through the wall, but Han pursues Sever to take him down. Coily bites it.
And this is why it sort of made sense that the Suyo came through with the Hirara on the other side. At least in some way or another, you have some mobility options yourself to catch up after those iframes and Hirara's dashing around herself.
I mean, one might argue if Hirara has 4 skills.
Yeah.
1,
he's got 6.
3, 4. He's got 6. Yeah. So the math just counts for Yangon either way, especially since Pro are down so much. And now, as you can see, Kaze has taken a little bit of a back foot. Now maybe 2nd or 3rd prio when it comes to damage output. But the map has turned red, and when it's this down bad, the Selena has so much more to deal with, and PPP can only do so much. It's a honest trick.
Yeah.
PPP can't threaten as much of a purified pop from Sanji as he used to in game 1.
There's none of that flicker combination, you know, that we usually see with Belrix, for example. You need the Revitalize here, though, too, because if you do break out into a team fight and they try to follow through, eventually, if they can extend it, they'll have some of that match resist built up, especially on that front line, to help extend, because there is some potential there, just like we saw in the one previous fight with the Turtle, where Saria and Felix can burn a flicker, just find Kaze and take out that option.
Tetna's welcome. Throw it into the wall. Now the dash and the sever, putting PPP down. Han scores. Sky Piercer stack. Yes, please. Saria and Felix bring the fighter back. Not enough damage reduction as Han gets a double. Another stack. And now the Lord up next. Yangon Galacticos puts a black and purple jersey on it.
Man, stacks on stacks right now for the Suyo. Despite his changes that he's gone through, you're still reminded why he was such a threat before. Look at this. Again, lines up the Queller. Just a cool guy. You know, shoots, goes back to the Lord. Here's someone else low. I have Sky Piercer. Let me go grab that double. And just goes back to secure the objective. And this is the problem. This team fighting, he's chasing. Oh!
As if talking about it in the instant replay wasn't enough, Han does it again.
5-1-5.
The penultimate hero of the M6 World Championships are back. 10K almost up, Joseph. 9,500 gold for Yangon Galacticos. They're about to pop so many holy shields, and the Lord isn't even halfway through the river.
Man, it feels like the 2 days that we had between groups and now knockouts has taken us back 2 months, you know, in terms of the meta.
2 years with
2
Suyo.
years even, yeah, in some cases, because Suyo popping off this way, again, it takes the team to make it happen. Oh, again, a Queller, Soul Sever, enough to bring Sariam Felix to half, and now they got to deal with this Lord. That's your front line.
Gonna crash in. Holy shield already popped. Yangon Galacticos can force the issue here. They choose to take the disciplined
Jonas
route.
welcome.
No, he can just cancel this.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Just throwing some dirt in the back there. Okay, they defend against the Lord. They lose a bit of that health on the turret, though, but all the shields pretty much nearly dealt with here. Let's take a quick look at the items. You can see the disparity across the roles here. You know, at most, the closest that you have is between the XP laners, but, you know, for Ying, he has one job, and that's just use that Daytona's welcome, tank up a bunch of damage. He's already got great coverage. You know, Radiant armor for that magic, Chastised Pauldron, plus the anti-Caress here. He's as tanky as he pretty much needs to be to set things up around that ultimate.
Not to mention Blink, who's just about to get his flicker back.
Yep.
He can go ahead and mount, easily break through the formation, and then scramble Pro Esports. Not to mention how much gold he's making. He's making bank, Joseph. He's eating good bread. Already able to rebuild the Cursed Helm. That stacks with Eudora's Superconductor.
Yeah, there's this, you know, those things add up, shred through some of that magic resistance that's trying to be built up even by Pro Esports.
And that's just 2 of them. That's just Eudora and the glue.
Yeah. Again, Ying tanking
Oh,
up.
flicker! Zenda's welcome, throws it into PPP as he's forced to take root, and Han serves up gets another stack, and in comes one more Asaf falls. Might be another Blink down to about a 10th of his HP. Sanji finds him underneath the base, but Coily finally finds one, his first kill in this 11.5-minute game.
Stayed a little too long, but did the damage anyway. 3 down for Pro Esports, facing down 4 members of Yangon Galacticos. They don't have their gold laner, but they will still be able to take this mid-base turret down.
Oh my, look at the veterancy, the wisdom of Yangon Galacticos. They could have forced it. Any other team who's this close to victory would have forced it, but nope, they saw the Lord. We'll take it slow, 10K up. Let's just go for the sure win.
Yeah, they have to go ahead and delay this. They don't want to whiff here. If they actually start this Lord too much without Sanji being up now that he's alive, they don't want the potential for Pro Esports to go ahead and steal the Lord from them. So they hold it on. It looks like, despite it all, 10,000 gold deficit. Pro Esports is centering around the Lord. This might be one of those cases where they just, trying to make a play happen here. Conceal going to be used by Blink.
Blink finds the back line, compromises South, forcing Soriam Felix back. Felix does oblige, tries to fight back. Sanji wailing away, gets knocked out by the Lord. Ying still holds on, and then it's welcome. Han secures the Lord, and there's one arrow thrown out. Not going to be able to stop him, and they will take down PPP first. The trigger discipline on Ying doesn't force anything just yet.
Yep, Ying still has that ultimate available, so taking one down, he will be back up for this defense. But Lord's already secure here for YG. They've had complete control from the moment this game got underway.
Some respite, Joseph. A little bit of a silver lining for the Cambodian fans. Almost max stacks on Han. That's not it. What I'm trying to say is, Pros come back from worse.
Yeah.
If you remember their clencher in the group stage, they have fought tooth and nail to take back that final moment to try and get into the knock. Oh, wait, real quick, another Dennis welcome from Ying. Coily goes down, blazing the way into the face. Felix falls, 2 down. I'm not sure they can defend.
Oh, I'm not sure if they can, man. They still got a Lord to deal with here, and it's a fully stacked on 9-1 and 6.
Waves coming from all directions. PPP falls, Sanji takes him down. Lord underneath the base. Down goes Kozin, and just like that, Yangon Galacticos at match point.
Took a little bit longer, but still nonetheless the same result. Yangon Galacticos just dominated in game 2 like they did in game 1. And they're pulling heroes that we're not used to seeing, man, the past couple weeks, the past couple months, but it's all executed so well from Yangon Galacticos.
They've dismantled what Pro understood of the metagame.
Yeah.
Piece for piece,